Hey everybody, Trinison here. I want to take a second to talk about a quick topic, nutrition and fat loss nutrition specifically, that a lot of people may or may not be familiar with. And the kind of shocking headline is the 1,400, and these are approximate number, 1,900 approximate fat loss meals. Calories. This is per meal. Now, most people will say that's absolute crazy, and there is a caveat there, of course, but it sure does do something to catch your attention. So I am, and most people that I would believe that are into sustained fat loss to get to certain elite type goals are probably into super strict diets or nutrition plans in regards to losing fat. I think they're wonderful if you allow them to work, because what it does is allow you some freedom. And by having that mental freedom, it allows you to be able to focus on what you're doing. You don't have these outside distractions. One of my favorite is, and one that I use for myself, I don't use it for a whole lot of other people. I've used it a handful of times. That's because it is very powerful, and because one, being powerful as it is very demanding, is the velocity diet. Velocity diet is very simple. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it's basically using a high-quality protein shake and flax seeds or some kind of fiber source and a lot of high-quality omega-3 fats, and that's it. Very basic. And with the velocity diet, you have one meal per week, one whole food meal per week, and that's where this comes in, the 1,400 calorie and 1,900 calorie meal. And I'm also going to talk about a little problem some people have. So, velocity diet, you eat, and then each week you get one whole food meal. This, the one I'm experimenting with now, I'm doing a modification of this in regards to partial velocity diet and then implementing a back-end diet on this for a good period of time. But mine's only going to be 2 weeks. Proper diet, velocity diet is 4 weeks long. But what this brings us to in regards to this, and these were the calorie counts for my 2 weeks of my velocity diet whole food meal that you see here, and it works very good. Results have been wonderful, actually. I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this is about. But when would maybe a 1,400 or 1,900 calorie meal be appropriate? Well, when you pin on a super strict plan. A lot of plans and a lot of fat loss, weight loss plans espouse a cheat meal at the end of every week. Well, in my theory, I'm not a big fan of a cheat meal, and these were actually not cheat meals. These are just actually really good whole food meals. I got it taped up over here. I'll read off the list to you in the amounts. So it is, and part of that is when you're kind of in this, a lot of these diets and things, they want you to, have mental letdown of kind of going back to what you want and make you feel good and know that there's an end in sight, so to speak, on a weekly basis. It's a very common practice. The problem is that most of these plans are not super strict. Well, what does that equal? That equals you get a big fat 0 for results, because most people will out-eat their plan. So what they'll have done is during that cheat meal, let me go over here. During this cheat meal right here, what they'll do is they've got a modest result all week long, but the cheat meal may be this big. And this is way too big for them to have a result. Pretty simple, right? So in order for your cheat meal or a large component meal like this to work, and there'll be people out there talking about metabolism's downregulated and things like that, and you need to have these every week, blah, blah, blah. But you need to be this. Now, you might not need to be velocity diet, but you need to be pretty super dialed in and strict in order to have these type of meals work in consistent fat loss. So let's take a look at the meals real quick. I'll give you the breakdown. Let's go the big one to start off with here. This meal was, and this is just the ingredients, it's not how I ate it per se, was a 1.5 pounds shrimp, 1 cup broccoli raw, 1 regular sized apple, 1 cup spinach, 1 serving of some Icelandic yogurt. My wife made some vegan style non-dairy cheesecake. It was wonderful. That was pretty high calorie. And then I had some almond milk in there because I actually made a blended drink with the berries. Actually, there's blueberries in there as well. apple and broccoli and spinach together. Kind of sounds funky, but it was actually really good. So that left me at 1,970 calories, 80 grams of fat, 94 grams of carbohydrate, 196 grams of protein, and 30 grams of fiber in that one sitting. So in order to be able to utilize these, the take-home point is that you need to have dialed in order for this to work for fat loss, dialed in super strict nutrition, and then periodically, on this in the velocity diet, in the plan that I use, it's every 7 days or once a week, like I said. You can go into something like this. Now you'll notice there was no McDonald's in there, there was no Krispy Kreme donuts in there, no pizza, nothing like that. No cookies, whatever, cakes, whatever you may have, a pizza, or alcohol. I'll read you off the second one just so you can get an update. Again, a cup and a half of broccoli, 7 large eggs, 1 medium apple, naturally more, which is a natural peanut butter, some chicken sausage, some salsa, a half an onion, a poblano pepper, and again some of that yogurt, that Icelandic yogurt, I really love. So there you have it. That's kind of how, when you're using these, when you have these high calorie return meals, it's always best to have them quote unquote as clean as possible in regards to cheat meals. It's because you can't have your cheat meal outperform your results, otherwise you'll be pissed, right? And so there's a quick overview on how to use cheat meals and when a 1,400 or 1,900 calorie meal is appropriate for fat loss. So everybody have a great day. Hopefully you got a little bit of great information out of this. And be sure to swing back by and catch our other videos.